A $2.5 billion bet is about to either revolutionize Africa's meat industry or go down as one of the biggest corporate failure ever. The world's largest meat producer, the Brazilian behemoth JBS, is set to invest heavily into Nigeria's meat industry. The deal is set to fight food insecurity, create thousands of jobs, and modernize meat production across the country. On paper, it is revolutionary, but in reality, it's one of JBS' riskiest investments. Nigeria is no easy market. Failed mega deals, unpredictable policies, and a volatile economy have scared off corporate giants before. This episode will bring clarity on the market conditions that made this deal possible, as well as its risks and its rewards. Is this investment the key to solving Nigeria's food crisis, or just another case of profit over people? For centuries, meat has been at the heart of Nigerian cuisine. Whether it's the smoky suya sizzling over open flames, the slow-cooked pepper soup found in roadside bucatarias, or the rich meaty stews gracing family tables, meat consumption is deeply woven into the nation's culture. Yet, the market is surprisingly underdeveloped. Like many aspects of Nigeria's economy, the meat sector is a sleeping giant on the brink of awakening. The country's food industry is the largest in Africa, generating billions in revenue each year. With a rapidly growing population and rising incomes, meat demand is projected to triple in the coming years. But here's the problem. Despite its massive agricultural potential, Nigeria just can't produce enough meat to keep up. This surging appetite is already outpacing the country's ability to feed itself. The average Nigerian consumes just 6.4 kilograms of meat per year, far below the global average of 39 kilograms. Small-scale farmers dominate the red meat industry, but they face major hurdles: inefficient breeding, low productivity, and constant disease outbreaks. The poultry sector, on the other hand, has shown some resilience thanks to growing investments and improved farming practices. But even here, a significant supply gap persists. Affordability remains a key concern for the industry. Many buyers prioritize price over quality, seeking larger portions for less money. Nigerians want more quality meat, but the industry just can't provide it. As demand rises and supply struggles to keep up, it opens the door to food fraud. The country has shown limited efforts to combat meat adulteration, and the consequences are appalling. More than 200,000 Nigerians die from food poisoning annually. Meat of questionable origin, mislabeling, and expired meat sales have become distressingly common. The dangerous belief that everyone is a cheat makes regulation ineffective and almost counterproductive. Low production, rising prices, low imports, economic instability, and a market plagued by fraud have pushed millions of Nigerians toward hunger. Facing this reality, the federal government of Nigeria declared a national food security emergency. In early 2024, more than 100 million Nigerians found themselves in the grip of food insecurity, a sharp rise from the 66 million just a year prior. To understand this number properly, we have to go back to the definition. Food insecurity means struggling to get enough nutritious food in a dignified way. It includes both physical and economic access to food necessary for a healthy life. This food insecurity can manifest in various ways, like skipping meals or relying on low-cost, less nutritious food options. Of these 100 million Nigerians, more than 18 million face acute hunger, struggling daily to find enough to eat, while another 43 million rely on various strategies just to survive. At the heart of this crisis is a relentless rise in food prices. By early 2024, food prices exploded, soaring past 35% inflation and turning even the most basic staples into unaffordable luxuries for millions. And the human cost? Nearly 37% of children under 5 suffer from stunted growth, locked into a cycle of poverty before they can even start life. These numbers are a reflection of a nation unable to feed itself, where maize and wheat shortages are now looking at their 10th recurring year. Moreover, Nigeria's landscape is also riddled with insecurity. Kidnappings, banditry, and attacks from non-state armed groups are disrupting agricultural activities. Climate variation exacerbates the problem, with erratic rainfall and desertification, reducing arable land. Additionally, the conflict between farmers and herders have severely damaged the country's supply chain. In states plagued by violence, farmers abandon their lands and hunger spreads like wildfire. Poor government policies and institutional inefficiencies only deepen the crisis, failing to create the necessary safety nets for struggling farmers and consumers. As millions struggle with food insecurity, global meat corporations see Africa's hunger as their next big opportunity. They all bet that the continent's meat market will explode in demand. This leads us to José Batista Sobrinho, the Brazilian behemoth who is betting big on Nigeria's inability to feed itself. With over 220 million people today, and about 400 million by 2050, Nigeria's demand for food, especially protein, is skyrocketing. Yet, despite this demand, the country's domestic meat production only satisfies about 40% of its needs. The rest is imported. For global agribusiness giants, this gap represents an opportunity of enormous proportions. Analysts from Rabobank and Mizuho Securities highlight Nigeria's potential not just as a consumer market, but also as a major producer, thanks to its fertile land and abundant workforce. JBS commitment is an attempt at harvesting this opportunity, a $2.5 billion investment over 5 years to revolutionize Nigeria's meat production sector, with 6 mega plants, 3 for poultry, 2 for beef, 1 for pork. This move secures the company full supply chain control and market dominance in a fast-growing economy. And here's where it gets real. The Niger state government backed the deal, handing JBS a staggering 1.2 million hectares for the project. That's nearly 3 times the size of Ibadan, one of Nigeria's most populous cities dedicated exclusively to meat production. For the Brazilian behemoth, the bigger picture is clear. Nigeria's inability to meet its own food demand means an untapped, highly lucrative market. By investing in production capacity, JBS ensures a long-term revenue stream while positioning itself as an indispensable player in Nigeria's food economy and the region at large. Aligning with Nigeria's National Food Security Plan provides an additional advantage. Strong government backing, strengthening trade relations with Brazil in agriculture and livestock. The JBS deal is seen as a flagship investment for deeper economic collaboration between the two countries. But the Brazilian titan is not the only agribusiness giant investing in Africa's meat industry. Competitors like Tyson Foods and Cargill have also been making significant moves on the continent, each vying for dominance in a rapidly expanding market. JBS isn't just feeding demand, it's racing to outmaneuver global rivals. The company's success or failure will be determined not only by local market conditions, but also by how well it can fend off aggressive competition from other multinationals. Beneath the billion-dollar headlines, a storm is brewing. Environmentalists, small farmers, and industry watchdogs are raising red flags over the potential consequences of large-scale factory farming. Beyond environmental concerns, some question whether the investment would truly address food insecurity. Other critics argue that this is about control, a global giant cornering Africa's meat industry while local farmers fight to survive. Meanwhile, Nigeria's regulatory environment poses its own risks. Infamous cases like the PNID scandal, which exposed corruption in a high-profile contract dispute, highlight the challenges of foreign investment in Nigeria. Even with the billions committed to the country, the JBS investment is far from a sure win. But despite these challenges, the anticipation is electric. Nigeria's agricultural sector braces for a transformation as the clock ticks. What do you think? Is this the spark for Nigeria's food revolution? If you liked this episode, you may like our Season 2 lineup. Check out its dedicated playlist here, and see you next week for more business stories from Africa.